The world is globalizing and the telecommunications industry is becoming more and more global.
We have now for 10 years after our big merger created a global glue where people are tied together, where we don't internally compete but support each other.
Globalisation has been one of the most important factors to affect business over the last 20 years. But what is globalisation? How is it different from what existed before? Companies used to export to other parts of the world from a base in their home country. Many of the connections between exporting and importing countries had a historical basis. Today, to be competitive, companies are looking for bigger markets and want to export to every country. They want to move into the global market. To do this, many companies have set up local bases in different countries. In this programme, we hear from two chief executives how their companies dealt with going global. Percy Barnevik, one of the world's most admired business leaders when he was chairman of the international engineering group ABB, and Dick Brown of telecommunications provider Cable & Wireless. Cable & Wireless already operates in many countries and is well placed to take advantage of the increasingly global market for telecommunications. I asked Dick Brown, what is globalisation? For him, it involves the economies of countries being connected to each other and companies doing business in many more countries and therefore having multinational accounts.
The world is globalizing and the telecommunications industry is becoming more and more global. And so we feel we're well positioned in that marketplace. You see currency markets are more globally tied, economies are globally connected, more so nowadays with expanded trade. More and more multinational accounts are doing business in many, many more countries. We're a company at Cable & Wireless now well positioned to carry the traffic and to provide the services to more and more companies that now need to get to 5 countries or 12 countries or 20 countries. We're often there.
When Percy Barnevik became head of the international engineering group ABB, his task was to make globalisation work. He decided to divide the business into over 1,000 smaller companies. In this way, he believed the company could be both global and local. In answering the question, how do you make globalisation work? Percy Barnevik describes the global glue that keeps the many different people in ABB together. He then looks at the need to manage the 3 contradictions of the company. It is decentralised but centrally controlled. It is big and small at the same time, and it is both global and local.
We have now for 10 years after our big merger created a global glue where people are tied together, where we don't internally compete but support each other. And you have global leaders with global responsibility and you have local managers working with their profit centers. And if you have the right, so to say, agenda for these people and the right structure, you can use a scale of economy and your advantages of bigness but being small. We used to say that you have 3 contradictions: decentralized and still centrally controlled, big and small, global and local. And of course, to try to make these contradictions work together effectively, then I think you have a big organizational competitive edge.
Globalisation can bring advantages to a business, but how does a company go global? Dick Brown mentions 3 ways companies can achieve globalness. Firstly, companies can work together in alliances. Secondly, they can acquire or buy other companies. And thirdly, they can grow organically by expanding from their existing base.
Well, as you go global, and a handful or more of companies are going to really push out, in my view, to be truly global companies. And some of them, maybe all of them, will also work to be local. They'll be local in chosen markets and global in their ability to carry their customers' needs from continent A to continent B. We want to be one of the companies that's both global and local. Alliances are one way to be global. It's not the only way to be global. You can acquire your way to globalness. You can organically grow your way to globalness, You can have alliances which help you get global quicker. So you take your pick.
You have to start from the top with local people who understand language, culture and so on. And I think in this global world where the East is coming up now, that's a winning recipe.
ABB clearly found the winning recipe. Its theory of globalisation has become the company's working practice. So how do you make theory work in practice? Percy Barnevik believes that successful globalisation involves getting people to work together, overcoming national cultural barriers and making the organisation customer-driven.
You see, the easy thing is to have the theory, but then to make the systems work, to make people really work together, to trust each other, Americans, Europeans, Asians, to get over these national cultural barriers and create a common glue, ABB, and then make them customer-driven. If you can achieve that and create that culture deep down, then I think you have an important competitive edge.
We've heard from two companies why they believe globalisation is important for future success. Their views are shared by many other businesses throughout the world. What Dick Brown and Percy Barnevik have shown is that there are different routes to globalisation and that companies have to work hard to succeed in going global. For those that do, the rewards are considerable.